All right, guys, welcome back to yet another episode of the Caffeine and Octane podcast. This is powered by Ride Lounge, Atlanta's fastest growing vehicle storage and social club located in Peachtree Corners. We've got two more on the way, both in Milton and in Midtown, so be sure to check those guys out. I'm your host, Grant Van Brewer. I've personally been involved in this community for over a decade, working with brands like McLaren, Porsche, and BMW, so it's an absolute pleasure to come on here and share some special guests, some special conversations with you. We're at Caffeine and Octane, America's largest monthly car show, held the first Sunday of every month here at Town Center at Cobb in Kennesaw, Georgia. Head over to caffeineandoctane.com to learn everything about the show and pick up the official C&O merch. Today's guest is one of those people whose story that you generally cannot make up. A professional metal musician turned game developer turned CEO who sold a company to a multinational corporation. He's built a serious collection of exotics and hypercars and was kind enough to bring his Lexus LFA out today to the show. Please welcome John Gibson.
Hey, happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate it, John. And, this is the story that nobody expects. I mean, so I'll kind of let you open us up a little bit, just in one sentence of an intro. Who is John Gibson?
Wow, who is John Gibson? Well, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a fan of music, I love video games, and I love cars. And I love to share cars with the world.
That's awesome. So, metal musician, game developer, CEO, serious car collector. How does a person end up at all those places?
Well, it's a really long journey. You know, people come up to me all the time and they ask, oh, how do I get what you have? I want to do what you do. And so I say, okay, well, you have to go through what I went through. You have to drop out of college because your band's starting to take off and you get a record deal. And then you have to be a touring musician for a while and never make any money, but have lots of fun and get to see the world. Then you go back to college because you start having kids and you need to feed them. And then, I started making amateur video games, first doing music, then I started programming, got a job making video games, moved to California, got laid off. Had to move home and broke, houseless, carless, unemployed, living with my wife's parents.
Wow.
And just me and some friends from the internet said, hey, that had been making amateur games together. Like, why don't we try to do this for real?
Yeah.
Grinded away for years, and then eventually we had a game just blow up and sell like crazy.
That's incredible.
And it totally changed our lives. We went from being starving artists to doing all right.
That's awesome. And just today, what does it feel like being at Caffeine and Octane today? I mean, does an event like this ever get old, or do you still love cars the way that you used to?
It never gets old. I just came from my LFA, and I was over there. I asked everybody, I said, do you guys want me to rev it? And 100 people cheered at once. It was like being a rock star again. I was like, this is what being on stage feels like.
That's awesome.
And I revved the car and people cheered and it was beautiful. And it really wasn't, look at me, I'm cool. It was, wow, I have this really cool thing that I can share with people and make them happy and make them smile. So many people came up to me today and said, I've never seen an LFA before. And even somebody said, I've never been to Caffeine and Octane before. I came today because I heard there was going to be an LFA here.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it makes it all worth it. So going back to kind of how you started, I mean, like I said, you started the company broke, jobless, homeless basically, no running car. I mean, what was actually happening and what made you think starting a business at that time was the right move?
So there's this little company that people may have not heard of before. They have this game that later on got very successful. It's called Fortnite. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but a couple of people play it at Epic Games. And they make this technology for developing games called the Unreal Engine. Mm-hmm. And back then, when you were making an amateur game using their technology, you could use it, but you had to give it away for free. The game away for free. You couldn't sell it. You had to license the technology to be able to sell your game. And so they held a competition to find who was the best amateur game development team in the world. This was circa 2004. And the grand prize was $50,000 and a license to use their technology to make your game commercial that was worth $1 million.
That's cool.
So 1,000 teams from all over the world entered, and me and my friends entered the competition. It's like, well, got nothing to lose. I've lost everything. So 1,000 teams from all over the world entered. The competition lasted over a year, and long story short, we won that competition.
Wow, that's incredible.
And that was the catalyst. That we took a little bit of that money, we took that game technology license, and we took our amateur game commercial. And we're like, we have to, we won that $1 million value license, we had to do something with it.
That's incredible. So professional metal musician in the 90s, CD in stores, what was life like and what made you walk away from it?
So, well, if anybody remembers the 90s, late 80s and early 90s, that was an awesome time to be playing metal.
Yeah.
Mid 90s was a horrible time to be playing metal. It was all Nirvana and Green Day and all this stuff, which is not bad music, but I was a teenager. I was playing the music that I loved, and it was metal. And so it was not an amazing time to be playing metal, but I loved it. But we could barely make a living. So the first band broke up. Tried a second band for years. The second band, had some minor success, but really didn't make it anywhere. Didn't get another record deal. And I started having kids, and I'm like, I'm working in a factory, just packing boxes and stuff, just to put food on the table. It's like, I got to do something more. So and it was hard to walk away. I was offered the video game job, the first video game job, and I had to go to my band members and say, hey, I can't do this anymore. I have to feed the family.
Yeah.
But of the two jobs to choose between in the world, professional metal musician and video game developer, it's not a bad choice.
Not at all, yeah. And then you starting on America's Army, the actual U.S. Army's game.
Yes.
As the entry point into your industry. What was that like?
It was really incredible because I got to work with some real professionals. I got to work on a military base, which was kind of funny. Keep in mind, this is right after 9/11, so security's always high.
Oh, yeah.
There's guys with guns at every entrance. You have to be careful what you take in and out. But it was a really fun time, and I learned a lot. I also learned, I guess it's been 20 years. I can probably say these things. I also learned what not to do, because candidly, the company had pretty toxic culture. We used to, if you've ever seen the television show Survivor, everybody's trying to backstab each other to kick them off of the island.
Yeah.
And we called this Survivor Video Game Studio, because the way people got promoted at the studio was to betray the person above them and get them fired.
Wow.
It was like Game of Video Game Thrones. And it was really toxic. So when I started my own company, I saw a lot of the things not to do. The video game industry has this crunch culture, they call it, where you basically work a lot of overtime for no compensation. It's like, okay, we don't want to do that. It's also not very family friendly. So, not good health insurance, not good maternity leave, none of these things. So I'm like, I want to make a place where it's okay to make video games and have a family and have good insurance and good bonuses and not working tons of overtime and all those things. So it really showed me some things to do and a lot of things not to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely good takeaways. I mean, I know my life in business, like how did you get all this done? It's like, well, we found a million ways that it couldn't work. It's like
Exactly.
So Killing Floor became a franchise, Maneater breaking through as a shark game, selling Tripwire, the short version of that arc. How did that go?
Wow. So, Killing Floor, we were really blessed. Killing Floor came out right around the time the Walking Dead television show came out. And Killing Floor was a zombie game.
Yeah.
And everybody wanted to play zombie games. And my joke is, I found out what it was like to be Nirvana in 1991. Because this game came out and just started selling like crazy. We couldn't believe it. It sold 6 million copies. We developed the game on about $150,000.
Wow. And
at the time, mainstream games cost 20, 30, however many millions of dollars. And we scraped together $150,000 to make the game. So for it to come out and sell 7 million copies was life-changing.
Yeah.
And so we built on that. We kept that game alive for 5 years. We kept updating it. It did really well. We did other games. We did some of our war games, Red Orchestra, that were doing well. And we just kept building from there. The company kept growing and growing, and it became more and more of really like a great place to work because the company was so successful. It was really wonderful. People were getting bonuses and going out and buying cars with cash. And I mean employees, not the owners.
That's great.
People were putting down payments on houses. They were paying for their kids' college fund. And that was really amazing. But we got to the point where some things happened, and really, me and the other owners weren't seeing eye to eye. You know, there were 4 of us, and there was friction there. And it really got to be time for us to go our separate ways. So we found someone to buy the company, and honestly, it was a real blessing, because one of the things most people, if you're outside of the industry, you don't know this, but 2020 and 2021 were the biggest booming years ever for selling video games, and probably the biggest there will ever be. Most companies were making 4 or 5 times the profits that they did pre-COVID. Because guess what? Everybody was at home playing video games. You know, I've sold games in Walmart for years, and if you've ever retailed anything in Walmart, Walmart tells you what to do. You don't tell Walmart what to do. And Walmart came to us and begged us. This was Maneater. Maneater was about to come out in May of 2020. And Walmart begged us because all the other big games had canceled and moved. They're like, we're going to move to the fall after COVID. We don't want to come out. Nobody's buying games. And Walmart came to us and said, listen, we're essential, so we're open. And they said everybody is coming to Walmart and buying toilet paper and video games, and we're all out of both.
Wow.
So please don't cancel your video game. And so Maneater comes out, and I like the analogy. If you've seen Forrest Gump, you know Forrest Gump is out with Lieutenant Dan. They're shrimp boating. They're not catching anything. The hurricane comes along, takes out all the other boats. All of a sudden, they're catching all the shrimp. Well, that's what it was like with Maneater.
Wow.
So we were literally the only game in town for the first time in history for 3 months. We were the only major game release. So it was like a boatload of fish. You know, we were selling all of these games. But so you had this big boom, and then 2023 and 2024 were the video game apocalypse. It was the big crash. A lot of video game companies, because they were making 4 times the profits, they started spending 5 times the expenses. Well, COVID ended. People went back to work. People went back to jobs and school, and it didn't crash. It just went back to a little bit higher than pre-COVID levels. But salaries increase, everything, and it's not sustainable. So there's been 80,000 layoffs in the games industry, which is something like 70% of the global workforce. But for me, here's what was amazing and what was a real blessing. Basically, it was tough having that friction with my co-owners and moving on from my company, but I was blessed to sell at the peak of the market. If I'd have sold 1 year later, my company would have been worth 10% of what I sold it for. So it was a blessing to get out when I did. Took a few years off and then decided to get back in, because retiring in your 40s is kind of boring.
So you did really well with that. And then talk to us a little bit about Templar Media's entertainment first. Like, what was broken in the industry that made you want to build a counterpoint to it?
So started Templar Media about 1.5 years ago, and really what I was seeing was, whether it's movies, video games, etc., a lot of entertainment had become very agenda-driven and focusing not on the customer, not on the viewer, not on the gamer, but really on initiatives that had nothing to do with gaming. And I wanted to go back to the era where, you know, when you went to see Star Wars in 1977, when you went to see E.T. in 1983, when you went to see Indiana Jones in the 80s, it was like, I'm here to get entertained. I'm here to forget about my daily troubles. I'm here to just have fun.
Zero agenda.
And so it's like, wow, I want to make video games like that again.
That's cool.
And interestingly, ended up signing up this first game, Gate Zero. And had that opportunity, saw a lot of promise in the game. And it's going to sound weird when I say this, when I say not doing things that are agenda-driven, but it's going to be the world's first really high-quality Bible-based video game.
That's amazing.
And done in a really entertaining and fun way. The entertainment first part still really matters. People are like, well, you're making a game about the Bible. Well, it's history. there's Rome Total War, there's all these games, there's World War II games, there's Vietnam games, this is a period of history that was really important to society. Whether you share that faith or not, these are things that happen.
Yeah.
So we're looking at how do we make that really entertaining and fun, which we're doing, and just bring something really unique to the world.
Yeah, and you guys, this is not for a niche audience. This is 6 million raised, 600,000 followers so far. What does that response tell you about
Absolutely.
the market?
We early on the team did a Kickstarter, and the average Kickstarter raises maybe $5,000, $10,000. It's crowdfunding, and when they went to do the Kickstarter, they had consultants saying, "Well, do 30,000." Because with a Kickstarter, if you don't hit the threshold, you don't get anything.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're going to set the bar high. We're going to do 200,000. You got 30 days on Kickstarter. It raised 200,000 in 72 hours.
That's incredible.
And by the time it was done, over 300,000.
Wow.
So that showed us that, there was a market there.
Yeah.
Another fun point about that is, Killing Floor 2 had had tens of millions of players. And my company had been around for almost 20 years, and when I left, we had about 40,000 social media followers. This game, on its own, before I even got involved, had over 500,000 social media followers. So, and you've seen things like The Chosen, 150, 200 million viewers, House of David blowing up, being on Amazon. Faith-based entertainment is mainstream now.
Surging, yeah.
But not in video games.
Right.
So somebody's got to be the first. Why not us?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Thanks for sharing that. We'll be right back, but before we do, I want to take a second to talk about the official Caffeine and Octane merch. Look, this community is something special, and now you can wear it. We're talking hoodies, tees, hats, quality stuff that actually looks good, whether you're out at the show on a Sunday morning or just living your life. Head over to caffeineandoctane.com, check out the full lineup, and rep the brand. We'll be right back.
My pleasure.
And let's talk about the Legacy Collection and the LFA a little bit.
Absolutely.
So we've got Classic Muscle. We've got JDM.
Yep.
You've got Modern Exotics. You got a huge V8 revving behind us in case you can't hear that. And you got some weird stuff. Give us a tour of what's currently in there.
Oh, wow. So people call my collection eclectic. Mm-hmm. And some people, I've had some people kind of like, you don't collect pre-war brass or only post-war Ferraris or whatever. Right. And I just collect what I think is cool.
Yeah.
Is it fun to drive? Is it fun to look at? Does it make people smile? I've got stuff actually one of the cars that's been in my collection the longest, 83 DeLorean.
Oh, sweet, yeah.
And I picked it up when those cars were cheap, and that car makes people smile everywhere it goes. It's not fast, right. Although I did upgrade it with bigger heads, ported and polished heads, big cams, free-flowing exhaust, headers, all this stuff. And it went from 130 horsepower to 200.
Okay, 200, we're getting somewhere.
So, it'll get out of its own way.
Yeah.
I don't need a stopwatch to calculate crossing 4 lanes of traffic.
Right.
But... my roots was muscle. I grew up with my dad helping him work on his 74 340 Duster and feeling the power and all that. So I've got a 69 Charger, I've got a 69 Barracuda, 70 Plymouth Superbird, 71 Hemi Cuda convertible,
wow,
74 Challenger Resto Mod. Let's see, what else is in there? I love Trans Ams. I have a crazy, and it was featured here a couple months ago at CNO, an 83 Trans Am, high output with 700 original miles.
Wow.
It's basically new in the plastic.
That's awesome.
2000 WSX, Trans Am, 1979, black and gold, Smoking the Bandits.
Oh, yeah.
I've got Fast and the Furious Row, RX-7, Eclipse, Mark IV Supra, R34 GTR, the black Charger, it's just kind of like Dom's car. So Fast and the Furious Row, got a 90s NSX. And the LFA is not 90s, but that's sort of pinnacle JDM.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then I started getting into exotics. Ever since I was a kid, my dream car was a Countach. I had a little Transformer, red. It was a red Countach called Sideswipe, 8 years old. Well, it took 40 more years to be able to get the full-size Sideswipe. So I've got a red Countach.
That's awesome.
a lime green Verde Ithaca Murcielago.
Yeah, that's a recent pickup too, right?
Just recently, a few weeks ago.
Great color, perfect Lambo color in my opinion.
Absolutely. Acid. So I love green cars.
Yeah.
Acid green 918.
Yeah.
I've got 4 or 5 green cars. And then I drag race as a hobby. I do 1/4 mile drag racing. I have a 2018 Demon that is built to 1,075 horsepower.
It's impressive.
Best time 9.2 at 149
Wow.
in the quarter. And then I have a 2023 Demon Sublime Green.
Sweet.
Demon 170. So really like all kinds of things.
Yeah. And what was the thought process behind building a collection this broad, rather than staying in just one particular lane?
Well, really, you want to have a different experience. When you, and it's kind of weird, to say this, but when you walk out into your GTA garage,
Yeah.
and you could drive any car that you want, it's like you don't want to drive 10 cars that are a little bit different.
Yeah.
You really want them to be as different as possible.
I agree.
And also, one of the things I love about having such a diverse collection is that I get to hang out with and become friends with people from all walks of life, from all kinds of backgrounds.
Yeah.
I actually did a car show a couple of years ago to raise money. I had a friend whose husband had stage 4 cancer, and she had a stroke, and she was pretty young. And they were having a lot of financial trouble, so I got a car show together to raise funds.
Wow.
And because I'm in like 10 different car groups, I was able to bring together 250 people.
Sweet.
I had Lamborghinis, and I had stanced Lexuses, and I had classic muscle and everything in between, and we raised $15,000 for this.
That is incredible.
Woman and her family.
Yeah.
And so just getting to know people with all kinds of backgrounds is really fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And you brought the LFA out today.
Yes,
Only
sir.
500 ever built, V10 to 9,000 RPMs. They're currently worth, I think the going rate's about over $1 million.
Yes, sir.
How did you end up with that one, and what was the first drive like?
So, I don't know if I should say this, but I have to be candid in my story. I was talking to a collectible exotic dealer, and I was having them look for a Countach for me. And they were looking, and they gave me a call, and they said, "Hey, we have this LFA we want you to check out." And I was like, "Man, I don't know." I'm sorry. They said, "We have this Lexus we want you to check out." I was like, "Oh, I don't know. It's like an old Lexus are old man cars. I don't know if I want that." I had no idea about how amazing Lexuses were, even outside of the LFA. But they're like, "You got to check out this Lexus." I'm like, okay. And I started doing a little research in the LFA, and I was like, "This thing looks pretty cool."
Yeah.
And then I went and I saw it, and they started it up. It's like, oh, that sound. And then I took it on the test drive, and I downshifted to like 8,000 RPMs under an overpass.
Oh, man.
And the Hallelujah chorus sang around me. And it was really, really fun, but I was like, wow, these things are, at the time when I just sold my company, I was like, I don't know if I could spend this much on this car. And so I was like, I don't know. And then finally the dealership called me back, and they said, "Hey, listen, this guy's about to take the car off consignment. Like, if you really want it, you got to move."
Yeah.
So I asked them the question. I said, "Can I come back one more time? And can I drive it really hard?" Because some cars are really fun to drive just putting around, but this
True.
is a sports car. This was the fastest car in the world in 2010 around the Nürburgring. It set a Nürburgring record. I was like, can I push it a little bit in some corners just to see what it really feels like? It's like, absolutely.
That's cool.
I came in, they let me test drove it, and I pushed it hard. And some cars, the harder you drive them, the less fun they are because
Yeah.
they don't drive well. This car, the harder you drove it, the more fun it
Just
was.
rewarding, yeah.
And it absolutely rewarded you for driving it well. And I was like, okay, I got to take this car.
Yeah, you knew it was the one.
I fell in love.
And what's in, like, I guess you could say, the weird stuff category? I mean, what lives in there? What's the most outrageous thing that you currently own that maybe most people wouldn't expect?
A 39 Cadillac LaSalle hearse.
Okay. Wow.
Thing's about as long as a bus and weighs about as much. It's got a big block 396, late 70s GMC truck drivetrain, and it's being restored right now. But that thing's super weird. That's really, my wife loves that a lot.
Cool.
My wife was very goth growing, coming up,
Oh, yeah.
Nightmare Before Christmas and Corpse Bride and Tim Burton movies. So I bought that car. I surprised her with that car for Valentine's Day a few years ago, and I said, "Honey, I got you a hearse for Valentine's Day because I want you to know love never dies."
That's amazing. I want to talk a little bit about your faith, philanthropy, and giving back. I mean, from having
Absolutely.
nothing to having everything, what did that journey do to how you think about giving back?
So I started life very, very poor. Son of a single mom, food stamps. She was disabled. Just really didn't have anything. I didn't realize how poor I was until I started getting out on my own, because you're just in it. You don't really know it.
Right.
And I remember when I went back to college, they had my original college financial assistant applications, and I saw how much my mom's income was. It was $800 a month.
Wow.
Mother of three, have to pay a house, $500 house payment. It's like, I don't know how we did it.
Yeah.
But it was also a really difficult environment. There was challenges at home. There was abuse by some people, and it was tough. And I remember thinking, once I got older, I was like, why did nobody ever help? Why did nobody ever do anything? And so when I got older and started to have some margin, and I thought, well, now I'm in a position to do something. I need to.
Yeah.
So started doing things initially. So it may sound weird, but when you get to a certain point, it's easy to write checks. You just write a check. But what's hard is your time, because no matter what your income level is, time is one of your most valuable assets. You only have so much life.
That's right.
But I really wanted to get my hands dirty, so I started traveling to communist dictatorships that I can't name because I'm not supposed to be there, and third world countries in Africa, and helping the poor, and helping, one of the things we do in this one I can talk about, there's a school in Zambia. So in Zambia, it's not like the US, there isn't taxpayer-funded primary education. So let's say you grew up in the slums, and when I say slums, I'm talking mud huts with no electricity, no running water, and you grew up and you have a kid. Well, you're poor, you can't send that kid to school because you don't have any money, and you didn't have an education. And that kid grows up, and that kid can't can't have education for its children, and on, the cycle of poverty. So there's an organization called WIFIN that both donating to but volunteering and working with, that provides free education for about 1,000 kids in the slums there.
That's awesome.
And what's incredible is when one of them graduates high school, they can get much better jobs, and the income that they have can lift their entire family out of poverty. And they can send their little brother to school and their little sister, and so it's this multiplicative effect.
Yeah.
But also, one of the biggest challenges that I see across all cultures is when you're in that situation, and I knew what this felt like. You feel like life is hopeless.
Right.
Like you will never be more than you are. You'll never be more than your parents. You're always going to have a horrible life. Life's barely worth living. So that's where the faith aspect comes in. It gave me hope. It is the thing that got me through the darkest times of the ups and downs of life.
Me too.
That's great. And suffering, and so these organizations that we work with that give these young people that faith background, they stop looking down in the mud and they start looking up.
There you go.
And they realize there's something better out there.
That's right. That's awesome. Well, we're going to go right into the rapid fire close. With a collection this size, the one car that still genuinely surprises you every time you get in it?
Mark IV Supra.
Love it. Best exhaust note in automotive history. I know you own the LFA, so you have the receipts to this one. But
yeah, Lexus LFA,
okay.
hands down.
This is something interesting. So this is more recent car culture times, a little bit of news here. I want to get your take on this. The Ferrari Luce launched just a week or two ago, the first Ferrari EV. 4 doors, 5 seats, $640,000, designed by Johnny Ive. Meanwhile, Porsche and Lamborghini are scaling back on their EV plans. What do you make of Ferrari going in the other direction?
Tone deaf.
Okay.
As somebody who's owned several Ferraris and still has some Ferraris, what you love Ferraris for is a high revving engine, an amazing feel, and refinement, and then absolute beauty of the design. And the Luce probably has the refinement and none of the other things. Where is the emotion?
Yeah.
Ferrari fans for generations are they're losing their minds because they've lost their way.
Yeah.
And I actually put out a video about this. I had a Testarossa, and I was out driving the Testarossa and made a video of it revving out that flat 12 and did some videos around it. And I said, Ferrari, get back to doing this.
Yeah, fair assessment. Classic muscle or 90s JDM, one for the rest of your life?
You're killing me.
I know, they're two good categories.
Yeah, I have to say 90s JDM just because if I have one for my rest of my life and I have to drive it every single day, Mark IV Super all day long. It's fast, it's refined, and easy to drive.
I think it's a great answer. What is the one car that has eluded the collection? Something that you've wanted but you still haven't quite found yet?
Okay, so there's kind of a theme in my collection, a sub-theme, which is movie cars. So I have an 83 Trans Am that kind of looks like Kit. I have a DeLorean. I have 69 Charger, Dukes of Hazzard, Fast and the Furious, all of these things. And the one thing that has eluded me is a Mad Max Falcon XB-GT.
Oh, interesting.
Car from Mad Max, black, big exhaust pipes, raked stance.
Yeah.
I have a gentleman, almost 15 years ago, there's a gentleman in Georgia that has one. And I've been working on him for years. And I've got, my daughter's 23 years old. I have pictures of her this tall standing next to it. And eventually he told me, he said, I'll sell it when I retire. And this gentleman retired maybe like a year ago. And now it's, my wife has instructions to sell it to you after I die. I'm like, you're not that old, man. Come on, just sell me your car.
One game everyone at Caffeine and Octane today should play that they've probably never heard of.
Video game?
Yeah.
One video game. Oh, wow. Go play Rising Storm.
Okay.
It's my favorite game one of my favorite games that I made. My grandfather served in World War II in the Pacific, and it was kind of both my grandfathers actually, so it kind of honored them. It was Japanese in the Pacific in World War II.
Awesome.
It was really unique and special.
Very cool. What is Caffeine and Octane in one sentence to someone coming for the very first time, in your words?
It is chaos and joy.
Love it. And then last one, what do you want people to take away from the story?
Don't give up. In the worst times, look to God. And life is short. Doesn't matter how expensive your car is, but get a car and have fun with it.
Awesome. John, it's such a great time. Thank you so much for jumping on with us.
My absolute pleasure.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you.